y'all, and welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I hope you're looking forward to the weekend like I am. I'm so excited and ready for it. Today we're going to be reading from our devotional, Raised Devotionals by Ida Mae Couch. And the title is Family Portrait. But before I get into that, I wanted to say thank you so much for all of your sweet words and comments and understanding on my last devotional when I just spoke my heart about what's going on in the world. And it sounds like y'all are right there with me. Y'all are feeling the same thing. And, you know, that just lets us know we have to pray. We have to pray like we've never prayed before. Wake up every day, put on that full armor of God, and do not let your guard down or relax. It is not the time. We are in a spiritual warfare. We are fighting things that we have never encountered before. And, you know, in times of war, you basically sleep one eye open and one eye closed, and you be on guard at all times. And that's just where I'm at, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing. I know that in my personal circle, there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on, and I have found myself just literally at war. And, you know, I know God's got us all, and He's going to take care of us. So hang in there. We got this. We know how the story ends, and we know who's in control. So be encouraged. And I always look at it as, if it's after me, that means it ain't got me. You know, it's kind of a blessing in disguise somewhat. And it kind of makes going through these things a little more tolerable and bearable. So if you're fighting and, you know, you're in a spiritual warfare, you're battling some things, just know if you're in the battle, it ain't got you. You know what I mean? So with all of that being said, let's see how our devotion, how the Lord is going to use Miss Ida Mae and the topic family portrait to minister to us. The family portrait. The arrangement of family members, the perfect smiles, the favorite outfit that took hours to pull together for the perfect look, the perfect hair day. No, the hair was not perfect, and that was what had me so upset to the point of tears. The photographer had set up shop in two adjoining motel rooms. One room was the waiting room, and the other was where he was taking the pictures. Ooh, tongue-tied. There were several other families in the waiting room when we got there, so we had to wait and wait, even though we had an appointment. I had washed my hair before we left the house so that it would look its best. I looked in the mirror when we got to the motel and saw that my hair was not drying like it normally did. Disaster had struck. My hair was flipping out, not under. You see, I was a bit obsessive about my hair. There was a certain way it was supposed to look, and if it didn't look that way, then my world was off kilter. I didn't feel right, quote unquote. Nothing I tried made my hair behave. I started crying, which upset my mom because I would have red eyes in the pictures. Oh no, bad hair and red eyes? The whole picture was going to be ruined because my hair wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. There are some good scriptures to help get our perspective back in focus after we flipped out, pun intended, over our appearance. And I have my King James Bible. And our first scripture comes from 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. Verse 3. Whose adorning, let it not be outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of weaving of gold or of putting on of apparel. 4. But let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of the meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. And then our next scripture comes from 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. I love that scripture. While it was a bit aggravating at the time, we did have quite a long wait to have our picture taken. I had time to accept the fact that my hair wasn't going to behave the way I thought it should, and my red eyes had time to go back to normal. That portrait hung on the living room wall up to the last day my mom lived in that home. I didn't see my flipped out hair or any traces of tears. No, instead, I saw a moment in time that represented my family. A family that loved each other on good and bad hair days. Oh my goodness. I just have to laugh because have we not all been there? Especially when you're younger in your teenage years. And I'm sure if there are any men watching this, even they at certain times in their life have been obsessed with how their hair looked. Believe it or not, my James, who is balding on top, he used to be obsessed with his hair when he was in his teenage years. Like, he had the long hair, the full thick head of hair, and we pick on his boys because they have heads full of hair and thick, and they like to give their dad a hard time. And I'm like, this is your future, boys. But yeah, even he used to be obsessed with how his hair was. And I didn't know him at that time, but I would have loved to, because I can just imagine. Because, you know, we grew up in the time of the 80s where, you know, big hair, fried hair, the bigger the hair, you know, the closer to God kind of thing. We're actually responsible for the hole in the ozone layer because of the Aquanet hairspray. I mean, can y'all relate? But I remember growing up, the church that we went to, they would have once a year or whatever, you could buy the family portraits and you could get like 11 by 14 for free. Like you pay like $5 for the coupon or something and you got that one free, but then they enticed you with all these other photos and you ended up buying those. But I can remember going and having that done. There was times that it was just me and my granny and my cousin was in the photos. There was times where it was just me and my brother. There were times when it was just me and my kids, you know, or my daughter, not Cody. But I remember all that. And it's true what she says. It is so true what she says. When you look at the family portraits and you look back at all these, not even family portraits, but just snapshots, pictures, you do tend to relive and remember things, you know, and you don't always remember the bad things. Like she says when she looked on that family portrait that she just loved, you know, how'd she say it? She saw a moment in time that represented her family, a family that loved each other on good and bad hair days. And that's true. But this all boils down to, I know what she's saying. Okay, I get that, you know, and it's fun to laugh. And yeah, you know, I don't see anything wrong with taking pride in your appearance as long as you don't let it cross the line of that ungodly pride and it consumes you and it dictates your life. But I love where in 1 Samuel where it says that man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. And it's so true. And we have to remember this when we encounter people. You know, we only see the outward appearance. We only see, you know, different parts of them, the outward. We don't know what that inner man is going through. We don't know what that inner man has gone through. We don't know what things that they've had to, you know, get through to get to the other side. We don't know what battles they've fought or fighting. We just don't know that. And so it is very important that we don't judge a book by its cover. You know, I know that is such an old saying, and I've said it, heard it growing up all my life, said it so many times. You truly cannot judge a book by its cover. And that goes for people, y'all. We can't judge somebody based on how they look. In fact, I've been guilty of this, okay? I know we all have at some point, at some time or another, been guilty of it. And you just see this person and they just seem like they have their life together. Everything's just going perfect for them. You know, they have the hair, the looks, the body, the this, the that, you know, the perfect marriage, the perfect family. money, jobs, cars, houses, boats, all of that. But that inward man is literally miserable and crying out for help. But that outward man don't look like that. I've been in this situation where if you would have seen me on the outside, it looked like I had it made. Everything was perfect. I mean, I had the house and the cars and the boats and the lifestyle and the job and the money. I had all of that. I've lived that life. And I can tell you that was the most miserable I had ever been in my life because it was so superficial. Because inside, I was dying. Inside, I was a very tormented person. Inside, I was so ugly. And it led to a time where I was a horrible human being because I was so miserable. But the pictures look great. You know, the outside looked wonderful. You know, put on the show, put on the charades, you know, everything looked fine. But inside, I was as black as coal. And I was as far away from God as any one human being could be. I didn't want to think about him. Didn't want to talk about him. It was just, no. That's how inside I was. That's how dead inside I was. That was how miserable. But the outward man didn't look that way. The outward man looked great. The outward man looked better than I've ever looked in my life, quite honestly. You know, but man, was that deceiving. And so I learned so much during all that. I can look back now and see all of this. But as I was going through it, I didn't realize that the Lord was going to be able to use that time in my life to be a testimony. So it taught me so much about, you know, being very careful and mindful not to get focused on what it looks like, quote unquote, because we don't know what it's really like. And this is where I have a real big problem with social media and even YouTube, y'all. You know, we put the prettiest pictures out there. We put, you know, the prettiest scenarios out there. And although that part may be a snippet of your life and that part may be true, I'm not saying that you're putting false stuff out there, but we don't tend to show the dark stuff, the really deep stuff. I mean, I've been more transparent on this channel about that than on my other channel because, I mean, there's a time and place for all of that. But, you know, I don't film the days and share the days where I'm a basket case and I am in a major spiritual battle and I can't do anything but cry and pray. I don't show that on video. Y'all see this where I've like got the strength and I've got the Lord helping me and I'm encouraging you and this and that. But y'all don't see my days where I'm beat up. I have been on the battlefield for days or hours and I'm scarred, I'm beaten, I'm battered, I'm weary. I don't film that and y'all don't see that. You understand what I'm saying? So y'all see me get on here and say, you know, God's got us. He's a great God. He's fighting our battles for us. Y'all see that. But let me tell you something. Y'all don't see the battles I've come through to get to this point, to be able to sit here to share that with you. All of this didn't just happen. In fact, y'all didn't see me yesterday when I'm getting some text messages that are just causing me such, well, grief and then anger. Anger because I can see the devil's handiwork in it. The devil trying to, you know, torment this person that's texting me. And y'all don't see me put on my armor and strap it on and hit that battlefield and go to fight, you know, against the devil with the Lord. Y'all didn't see all of that. But let me tell you, it was real. And I was very much in a battle yesterday. I was, you know, sometimes we have to fight for those who are in a vulnerable position that really just don't have the strength and energy. Maybe they've been in the battle for days and they're just whipped. And so, okay, you rest. I'm going to cover you and I'm going to go to battle for you. And that's what I was doing yesterday. And y'all didn't see me when the first time I opened my eyes this morning that I was back on that battlefield fighting for that person, praying for that person, trusting God, asking him to go before that person, to dispatch his angels to surround and shield that person from what the enemy was going to try to attack. Y'all didn't see all of that, but it was very much real. But because I've been through all of that before, that's why I can sit here today and with such faith and confidence and tell you, yeah, it may look pretty, but we don't know what battles that person's been through. We don't know what battles they may be going through. Here I am, set up here. Okay, hair's done, makeup's on, clothes done, jewelry on, you know, looking decent, okay? But inside, that warrior is on that battlefield. Inside, that warrior is fighting for that person. So don't look at this. Don't judge a book by its cover, because right now it looks like, hey, she's having a good day. She's sitting here encouraging you. She's just, you know, pepped and prepped and just, you know, everything's great in her world. Yes, everything is good in my world, but there is also another part of my world that you can't see that's going on inside of me as I battle and fight for this person. As I battle and fight against all these spirits and these tricks that the devil wants to throw out there. Because that person is weary and I'm standing over them. I'm standing guard. I'm covering them. Just like the military does with each other. You know, you have these soldiers and they send people out and they have snipers covering them and this and that. I don't even know all the war terminology, but they're always covering each other. They got each other six. Is that what they say? Well, I got this person six. I'm covering her. While she's going through some things, I'm covering her. And I'm on the battlefield and I'm shielding her. And nothing's going to get her on my watch because of the God I'm praying to for this person. You know what I mean? So yeah, it may look like everything's great in my world. You may watch my other channel and think, this is quite different. Yeah, it is. Because this channel, I can share all of that with y'all. I can be that transparent with y'all. I can be that raw and real and let you know some things because we're in this together, y'all. The other channel's about other stuff, you know? But that don't mean I'm not dealing with some things. So, I say all of that to say this. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't look at the outside appearance of things and think that's how it is. Because we truly don't know what's going on the inside of that person. That's why I always try to be kind when I'm out in public. When somebody is rude or snarky or hateful to me, I try to remember, I don't know what battles they're fighting. So if I can just retaliate with kindness, maybe that will help them. Maybe that is what they need to kind of get them through. So that's why I always try to be kind. I'm not perfect at it, but I do my best to try to be kind to others, encourage them, and I treat them the way I would like to be treated. Just like the good book says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It doesn't say do unto others the way they do unto you. You do unto others the way that you would have them do unto you. And if we do that, we're good. God's going to help us and get us through. Wow. I love y'all. I hope this has encouraged you. I hope it has blessed you. It has definitely reminded me to be more mindful and aware, not to judge a book by its cover, not to look at somebody on the outside and think they've got it all together or man, they're a mess, they're falling apart. Because I just don't know. You just don't know. And you know, it's not for us to judge anyway. I love you. I pray that you have a wonderful weekend and I will see you here in the next one. Bye, y'all.